Welcome back to Virginia This Morning. Our next guest is celebrating the release of her latest novel, Sunrise in Florence, that tells the story of Rose Manning, who follows her dream and buys an apartment in Florence, Italy to pursue painting and makes a mysterious discovery in the process.
We welcome Kathleen Reid back to Virginia This Morning. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. And your story seems to be a story of art and culture and a blend of love and also perhaps finding love in the process. So tell us what inspired you.
Well, absolutely. I was a docent at the Virginia Museum for 7 years, so I've got that art enthusiast piece. But actually, the genesis of the book came to me in a dream, and I dreamt the clasped hands. And it wasn't until I was standing in the Sistine Chapel in Rome that the whole spark of creativity happened. Mm-hmm. And so I sort of realized, I asked myself, you know, with the clasped hands, in the creation of Adam, the hands are touching. And I wondered, what if the hands were clasped? And what would that mean for mankind? What would that mean for art history? And it really became the genesis of the book and my character, Rose Manning.
And Kathleen, it's interesting. You have this, I'm always fascinated by authors because you have this genesis of the idea, right? Mm-hmm. This nugget of an idea. And then if it were me, I would want to race and write it all down, right? So that it doesn't escape you. But not only did you have that, but then it sounded like this story was just off to the races for you.
It took a while to get what they call a flow, which I just start writing and I create a beginning, a middle, and an end. And there is a lot of editing that goes into that, but I do like to just get that story down. And creating Rose was really special because it did combine my love of art history and Rose searching for that dream and following her passion, which is, this is my passion. So I could really weave that into the pages of my story.
Yeah. And so I was reading and it seemed like there were some pivotal moments in the story as well that kind of shaped who Rose is, but also the overall story. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, since it's Valentine's Day, Rose has 2 love interests, and we have Ben, the hometown honey, so to speak, and the one her family wants her to marry. And Rose has something else in mind. She wants to follow her dreams. She wants to perhaps paint and be an artist. And of course, when she's on her house hunt in Florence, she meets Leon, who's a bit of a James Bond type, a charming, adventurous, sort of everything she didn't know. So that's kind of the romance angle. And as I said, she also makes a mysterious discovery in her apartment in Florence that could potentially change art history as we know it today. Ba-dum-bum.
That's a good tease, Kathleen. Well placed, too. I was going to ask, how big of a role does Florence play in this, right? This character of this beautiful city as the backdrop.
Well, first of all, Florence is my favorite city, and I think some of the best feedback I've received on the book is that I have captured the essence of Florence, which for me is a huge compliment. And I have been there many times, but I have not lived there. But when I was there, you know, I took copious notes and whatnot. And I mean, what's not to love about Italy and pizza and pasta and red wine and all the beautiful art?
All of my favorite things.
Yes, I know. I'm sold. Let's go.
And a portion of this story is also based on a true story. What's that story?
Okay, so when I had the idea, my dear friend in New York is an art dealer, and I called her with my idea, and she's like, no. You cannot get away with that. It will not work. And as it turns out, a gentleman by the name of Robert Simon was at an auction in Louisiana and bought a painting for $10,000, all truth, and that painting turned out to be the last Leonardo da Vinci. In 2018, that painting sold for $450 million. Wow.
Yeah, that in and of itself is its own page turner.
My friend called me back and said, I think you can write your book.
So what a neat blend. It's again, I'm fascinated by how all of this comes together with this conjecture, right? You wanted to theorize maybe instead of this if we were here, right?
Exactly.
And then you have all of these passions, this beautiful city, loving art, all of that's woven together, and then the true story. Then when did the light bulb go off that, oh, I've got it? You were doing all of these pieces and then it all came together.
I think I'm actually in a Bible study, and they have been so supportive because you can't talk about Michelangelo without talking about God. And Becky Anthony, shout out to you, read it, and I think said, wow, I think you've got something here. I think all of the messages really just came together in this book.
Yeah.
So that was really, it was really special for me because it was that group that gave me the confidence to come back out and pursue my passion.
Well,
Yes.
congratulations. You've worked
Yes.
incredibly hard. We were talking, it's, you know, this is a labor of love to get it back out there, too.
It is a total labor of love. And I do have to say that Bill Bevins interviewed me on my first book on Light 98 radio with Shelley Perkins, if that tells you anything. And he was great. So that was fun.
Great.
So it is a journey. And so I'm so excited to be here. And thank you so, so much.
Next book, you'll have to put Bill and Shelley in there, too, right? So then you have that interjection, you know, put some real life in that.
Right,
Thanks for being with us, Kathleen.
Thank you so
Yes.
much for
Thank you
having
so
me. It was
much.
such a treat.
Appreciate it. We'll share some information. If you'd like to learn more about Kathleen, we'll have more on our website today, wtvr.com/VTM. We'll be right back with more Virginia This Morning.